welcome to this interview of Now Jakarta and Now Bali with me, Alistair Spears, the publisher. Today, I am delighted to be interviewing His Excellency Park Tae Sung, the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Indonesia. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Now, in South Korea, the Republic of Korea, to put its correct name, but we generally call it South Korea to be, shall we say, just a little distinctive. Has had diplomatic relations with Indonesia since 1973. They share a common vision, being what we call middle powers. Both are G70 and APEC members, so lots of opportunities to interact. Korea and Indonesia have got a new comprehensive economic partnership, which has been agreed but not yet signed, I believe, as well. So there's a very close cooperation which is building there as well. And very recently, there's been more talks about some very important things for Indonesia, the MRT fourth phase and the LRT in Bali. So a lot of different things which Korea is cooperating and working with Indonesia on, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us to discuss some of those items. But let's first of all start with you, sir, if we can, and ask you, how did you get to Indonesia? What's your background and your career journey to Indonesia? Thank you very much indeed.
Before I posted for Korean ambassador to Indonesia, I was the Deputy Minister for Trade and Investment of MOTI. MOTI means Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy of Republic of Korea. I also had an opportunity to serve at the Korean Embassy in Malaysia as a commercial attaché in 2006. And from that experience, I could learn the dynamic of economy in Southeast Asia region and the importance of ASEAN. I also participate in the negotiation process of Republic of Korea and ASEAN at a free trade agreement, which is the basis of economic relations between Korea and ASEAN member countries. As you know, Indonesia, the biggest economy and the leading member country of ASEAN, in terms of bilateral relations, Indonesia has become one of the most crucial partner countries to Korea. And the importance of economic cooperation between our two countries is getting bigger and bigger in times of global value chain transformation ahead. As a new Korean ambassador, I would like to contribute to accelerating the economic ties between Indonesia and Korea at full speed. That's why I'm here serving as a Korean ambassador to Indonesia.
Thank you very much indeed. A very good career journey, and as you said, finding the dynamism of the ASEAN Asia-Pacific relationship has been very important to give you that background to working in Indonesia. But we've discussed already so many elements that the South Korea-Indonesia relationship has: trade and investment, culture, Asia-Pacific security. What do you think of those as the most important at the moment?
To begin with, I would like to draw your attention. The both countries, Indonesia, are the members of G20s and partners which share core values such as democracy, human rights, and market economy and multilateralism in the Asia-Pacific region. I think that that is a very important element. Also, our bilateral relationship was elevated to the level of a special strategic partnership following the state visit of President Moon Jae-in to Indonesia in 2017. During his visit to Indonesia, President Moon announced a new Southern policy, which is a new initiative to elevate the level of cooperation with ASEAN. The ties between Korea and Indonesia have been rock solid more than ever before in all sectors, such as trade, investment, defense, health, and medical and cultural, especially strategic cooperation. In the field of investment, trade and investment is a tremendous showcase to represent the special strategic partnership of the two countries. Let me take some examples. In December of last year, we had signing event for Korea-Indonesia CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, as you mentioned, and we are awaiting for ratification process by the parliaments of the two countries. Defense cooperation is also an important element in our relationship. We are now undertaking the joint project such as KFX, IFX jet fighters, and submarines. As you know, last March, we had a successful turnover ceremony of submarine Alogoro in Surabaya. And Defense Minister Park Prabowo Subianto visited Korea in April to participate in the KFX, IFX rollout ceremony. Those strategic partnership and joint project is, I think, a symbol of cooperation in the defense industry. At this time, the most urgent cooperation is to fight together against COVID-19 pandemic, I believe. To assist the Indonesians' response to COVID-19, Korea has collectively provided supplies and assistance programs related to testing, tracing, and treatment. Also, currently, Korea and Indonesia are working together to develop vaccines and medical treatments for COVID-19. To this end, Health Minister Bapak Budi Sadikin visited Seoul in May with Bapak Menko Luhut to discuss ways of cooperation with related Korean companies. Moreover, Korea and Indonesia agreed to TCA. TCA means Travel Corridor Agreement, which streamlined the immigration procedures for essential business persons to support economic recovery during the pandemic. For my part, the most essential element in the bilateral relationship is the human-to-human interchange. There are approximately 20,000 Korean residents in Indonesia, and the Korean community is one of the largest foreign community in Indonesia. Last year, we celebrated 100th anniversary of Korean migration in Indonesia. On the other hand, around 40,000 Indonesian residents are staying in Korea, and more than 600,000 Korean and Indonesian people visit each other's country every year. So I wish that the people of the two nations become good friends like brothers and sisters. I think that is the most essential element to strengthen our bilateral relationship.
That's a really very good point to wrap up that section on, Ambassador. The human-to-human contact being the most important. You're absolutely right. And we really hope that, first of all, the business corridors will turn into tourism corridors soon, and we can have real proper interchange between the countries.
Operate, yes.
But thank you very much indeed for that very comprehensive overview on this special strategic partnership and its elements. Now, we are very aware of the strong industrial and commercial investment that Korea has in Indonesia. And you've got some quite substantial companies here, household names, which I won't mention unless you do. Most of us are holding at least one of them in our hand at some point. But there's other major investments, KC Glass and the Sejin Fashion and LG Chemicals. I mean, there's been some quite substantial investments which maybe are more on a B2B side so that the public won't know about them. Have any of your investments been adversely affected by the COVID crisis, and any benefited? Because we know that some companies have actually benefited from COVID. Tell us a bit more about that if you can. Thank you.
Okay. I think that is a very important question at this time of COVID-19 pandemic. But I would like let you know that Korea now, up to now, Korea up to now jumped to the third largest investor to Indonesia in the first quarter of this year, despite of COVID-19 pandemic. I think this is a very fantastic and wonderful. Actually, Korea was the seventh largest investor to Indonesia in 2019. But in spite of COVID-19 pandemic, Korea entrepreneurs continue to invest here as they made a promise to Indonesian government and people. I think that is very important. Even if we are in the difficult situation of global infectious diseases, but we have to strive to recover our economy with solidarity and cooperation of two countries. Up to now, around 2,000 Korean companies have entered Indonesia to run a business. When it comes to Korean investment trend in Indonesia, as you mentioned, the investment turns out to be more technology intensive, eco-friendly, and export-oriented, such as electric automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and petrochemicals, and financial services. For example, you already mentioned Korea and Indonesia are promoting cooperation to establish electric vehicle ecosystem in Indonesia, which established the integrated supply chains of electric vehicles and batteries for the first time in the ASEAN region. To this end, Hyundai Motor is under construction of electric vehicle factory, and LG Energy Solution Consortium made head-of agreement for battery investment with Indonesian counterpart in April this year. KCC Glass had a groundbreaking ceremony in Batang Industrial Park to construct the largest factory in the ASEAN region. We are also moving forward to deepen future economic cooperation in the area of digital, green, and service economy, including fintech, finance, startup, and clean energy. I strongly believe that the cooperation in those sectors will upgrade our economic bond to the next level.
I love the fact that you're concentrating on the the sustainability aspects of your investment, very much needed here in Indonesia, as you know, Ambassador. Um, you haven't mentioned any of the household names, and you don't need to do so because they're on our lips all the time as we switch on your instruments of our enjoyment. Which have been quite substantial. Electric vehicles, of course, are the next important thing. So delighted to hear that that's happening. Now, one of the amazing phenomena in this relationship is what I used to call K-pop, but now is much bigger than K-pop. It's the K-wave phenomenon, which includes drama, food, and all sorts of things. How did this all happen? How did it take off? What's next? Why is K-Wave so popular? I mean, there's been a fundraising done recently by one of your bands, which just made money virally immediately. It is a phenomenon. What is behind it all?
Wow, that is a very difficult question to answer for me. Anyway, I understand that there is a growing interest and love of Korean cultures among Indonesian young generation. Current K-wave, Korean wave, is a global phenomenon, not limited to Indonesia. Actually, it started in the 1990s from K-drama, such as Winter Sonata and Daejangum. I remember all of the dramas. Yeah, the drama was really has a really interesting stories. Experiencing some up and downs and try errors over time of 30 years. K-Wave has successfully evolved in more colorful and various and deeper directions. So nowadays, we can easily observe that many people around the world listen to K-pop music, have K-food as their lunch or dinner, purchase K-beauty products, watch the K-drama and K-entertainment shows in their house. As you know, a Korean movie, Parasite, already won the best film and the best director award at the Academy Awards. And McDonald's launched the BTS meal set. And it is sensational all over the world right now, as you know. I read a news article that a few McDonald's stores in Indonesia closed their shop due to the crowd gathering to buy BTS meal. I think those phenomena is quite interesting, and it is very difficult to answer why. But anyway, in my view, more and more Indonesian people respond with great interest and enjoy K culture. It is very evident. So my opinion is that Korean and Indonesian have common element to share cultural traits, values, and legacy, which help to understand and connect each other much better. And I believe that those similarities make Indonesian enjoy and approach to K-wave more easily. For example, let me take one example. Both Korean and Indonesian put importance on the family and community spirit. gotong royong, I mean mutual cooperation, mutual assistance, and affection between friends and neighbors. That is why Indonesians enjoy K-drama, K-movie without feeling desperate. I would like to stress that this kind of cultural communication should not be one way, but mutual beneficial way. Korea has rapidly been turning into a multicultural and multi-ethnic society. In this regard, Korea can learn Pancasila spirit of Indonesia so that Korean society can respect and develop various cultures in harmony like Indonesia. We should work together to this end. In this regard, it is good signal that a number of Korean young people increasingly introduce the Indonesian songs, foods, and beautiful destinations through YouTube. So we have to encourage two ways of cultural activity and communication. Most important of all, in our bilateral relationship, I personally believe that human-to-human interchange is almost essential, as I mentioned earlier. So we often say the young generation is our future. It is very crucial that the young generation, which is responsible for the future of the nation, advance in understanding of each other and promote friendship via cultural, social, and human exchange. As Indonesian and Korean young generation enjoy each other's cultures, I don't doubt the relation between two countries will become even more stronger and deeper.
That's a very good way of putting it, Your Excellency. I would love to see. Um, my view on the K wave is this amazing discipline that the Korean productions bring. I mean, you watch the practicing of the bands. It is, I mean, the most disciplined production values that anyone. So perhaps you can bring those values to help Indonesia have an I wave and go around the world with our food, our drama, and our music as well. There's a new transfer of technology. How did the K wave help the I wave? But a very, very good perspective. Thank you very much, sir. Just
I
one
totally
last
agree
point.
with your opinion. Yes, right.
The one last point that is a very small point is Korean lady golfers are so good. Now, they're not much appreciated by people in Indonesia, but when you watch the ladies' golf championships, it is at the top 10, five of them are Korean ladies who are just phenomenally good golfers. Just a small comment from me, and I'm
Oh,
sure
yes.
you are a golfer yourself.
Mhm.
My last question, sir. Just your hopes for the future of the relationship. You've talked about the human-to-human interchange being the most important. What are you doing to enhance that and other aspects for the future?
For my part, Indonesia and Korea have lots of similarities and shared values and principles. And there are infinite potentials and hopeful future for us to grow together. I sincerely wish that Indonesia and Korea become like brothers and sisters, become good friends like brothers and sisters, having a sincere friendship beyond just the economic partnership. That is my sincere hope. We will keep developing our close economic ties, which is mutually beneficial, and thereby we shall prosper together. Our people will continuously communicate and interact each other under the spirit of mutual respect and understanding. And by doing so, we will cultivate the true friendship. Until then, I, as a Korean ambassador to Indonesia, will try my best effort to develop and advance relationship between two countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. This has been Alistair Spears, the publisher of Now Jakarta and Now Bali, bringing you a wonderful interview with His Excellency Park Tae Sung, the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Indonesia. On behalf of all of our readers, watchers, and bloggers, and readers everywhere, we'd like to thank you very much indeed, and good luck in developing this marvelous relationship further. Thank you so much.
Same to you. Bye-bye.